Hi, Randy.
Hello, hi. Hope it's going great with you guys. And I hope that you had time to go through the assignment guidelines video that on the Moodle. So first of all, what I would like to do is, if there are any questions that you have from that, you can ask me now. Of course, you can always, whenever you remember a question or think of a question, you can ask it on the discussion board. But before we start the lesson, you can ask me now. And today's lesson, guys, we're talking about like something that's very, very relevant to you guys during the entire MSc. That is, of course, the most interesting, exciting referencing part. So we'll be discussing about that. But before we get to that, if there's any questions that you had, any clarifications that you had when you were going through the assignment video, you can ask me now. Okay. Right. I think Jeremy would have already put a message on the group saying that we are starting the class. So I think we can start now. Yeah, because I wanted to do. Yeah, that's okay. Nice, Jeremy.
Yeah, we should go ahead. There are some messages on the group. Let me just have a look.
Sure.
Idu says that he can't make it, and he sent some photographic proof as well. Okay, yeah, let's go ahead. Sorry, guys,
Sure.
about the message on the attendance.
I think Hashan and his mini classroom are here.
Yeah.
So that's good. So that's great. We are having. I'm not seeing a usual attendance. I am seeing. Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So, guys, without further ado, let's get on with the citation and the referencing. Because I am thinking that you, would ask me assignment-related questions later. So please go through the video, and if you have any questions, please ask so that you're not having any kind of confusion before you like start writing it, right? Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay, so guys, as you know, we've believe it or not, come to the last day, the final session of academic writing. Of course, it's not the last time that I'm going to see you guys, because we have a very fun module to do later, but let's talk about that later on. So I saved the best for last because referencing can be boring, but of course it's like a fundamental part of your entire MSc, because whenever you do academic writing, whenever you do any kind of assignment, whether even if it's a presentation, you are expected to always have perfect referencing, and you should also know like how to cite your references, and you should know what kind of academic sources that you can use. Actually, a lot of the material that I'm going to be discussing today are already on the Moodle, but I'll take you through those also. So I want you guys, in your own time to, make sure that you read all the things that I have put in the Moodle, because it'll help you. Because see, when it comes to referencing, guys, see, there's so many rules of referencing, but the good thing is you don't have to by heart it because you can always refer to it. As long as you understand the fundamentals of referencing, I think you're good to go. So let's look at that, right? So the learning outcomes for today is I want to talk to you about finding the right source when it comes to information, because I think it all starts from there. If you base your writing on bad information, then well, you're going to end up with badly written, a badly written assignment. And also, I'm gonna show you how you can review literature that you read, because like I was saying, from day one, right? um, when you're doing an MSc, it's all about being critical about your reviews, and for you to be critical about whatever you're reading, you should know how to how to assess what you're reading with other material, how to be critical. Like I always say, don't be satisfied with one person's definition. So we'll talk a little bit about how you can review literature. And also, I'll take you through some of the technicalities in actually citing other authors' work. Right. So those are the learning outcomes for today. And yes, 1 second. So yes, like this real cheesy joke, right? So, but the whole point of this is that what do you mean all my facts are wrong? I copied everything straight off the internet. See, those days, like I'm talking about it 25 years ago, people had to go to libraries to find out journal articles, to find out information and all of that. But luckily for you guys, everything is like a click away, right? But unluckily for you guys, there's so much of verbose on the web that you should. It's very important to know what to read and what not to read, and what to refer and what not to refer, because there's so much of information out there that not everything is true, not everything is academically valid, right? So the first thing I want to do is talk to you a little bit about how you can differentiate academic sources from non-academic sources, right? So guys, see, when you're writing an assignment, right, you can find information from anywhere. When I say anywhere, from books, from journal articles, from videos, from tweets, from YouTube, from not from Wikipedia, from articles, from Forbes, HBR. See, the sources are like endless. However, when you are writing an academic document, right, that is basically most of the assignments that you'll be doing for the MSc and your dissertation, you have to stick to academic sources. Why? Because, okay, it's like this. See, I love reading books, right? Books are great. Books are great. Books, that's a lot of information in one place. It's really easy. It's one of the best ways to learn. However, the thing with books is, if it's not an academically written book, or if it's not a peer-reviewed book, right? You learn about peer reviewing, right? It means it can be somebody's opinion. Even if think of the seven habits of highly effective people, right? Or the eighth habit. All of those books, they have amazing insights that you can use, in the business world, you can use in your life and all of that. But it is still what Jack Welch is saying, right? Unfortunately, when it comes to academic writing, we can't just take something just because someone is saying it, no matter how awesome that information might be, right? So when you are searching for sources, you have to check whether it is actually an academic source. So the difference is, when it comes to an academic source, right, is authoritative. What do you mean by authoritative is, the person who wrote it is an expert in that area, or is someone who has done extensive research in that area, right? That's why, even if you Google for journal articles, there are journal articles that are written by doctoral students. Why don't we take that as a reference? It's because, okay, it's somebody's assignment, it's somebody's dissertation, right? But the second point, if you know that it is a peer-reviewed journal article, most journal articles can, so, okay, basically, I'll tell you how journal articles work, right? We keep throwing this journal article word at you. What a journal article is, okay, in the simplest form, it's the result of somebody's research, right? So if I simplify it like a lot, let's say that, okay, all of you know about Porter's 5 forces, right? It's something that has been researched and reviewed and all of that. So let's say that an academic writer or a researcher or a professor, someone from a university or even a doctoral student, wants to find out whether there are more forces, whether there is a 6th force. So what do? They read all the literature there is on Porter's 5 forces, right? Because if you are going to research on something, you have to know what other people have researched on the topic before this. So, okay, they go through all the literature that there is, and then they form their research. Okay, there's a lot of research on forces, five forces done in Europe and the US, but you don't find a lot of research done in the Indo-Pacific area, right? Okay, fine. And then they do their research, they find their things. Okay, when it comes to the Indian market or when it comes to the Asian market, Porter's five forces, one component is not, it's not valid anymore. Industry rivalry, okay, hypothetically, it's not valid anymore. And they present their findings. This is my research. This is what I read from the literature. This is what I understood from other people's writing, from other people's research. Based on that, this is the gap that I found in the knowledge regarding five forces. This is what I did. This is my findings. And then what you do, you present this before an academic panel. Most of the time, these panels are run by universities. You present your findings, you present your research, and what do? Then they review it. They review it to see whether it's done properly, whether they can argue with it, whether the findings are credible, they're viable, they're applicable, they're generalizable. So they properly review the research, and then they approve it for publication. So whatever you read online, right? Okay, I will show you a journal article that will be better. 1 second. Now. Let me, it's already in the Moodle, so it will be easy. Yeah, let me just share my screen with you. There. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So in your Moodle, let's see. Okay. Oh, sorry, I have to share again. 1 second. So guys, this is a journal article, right? How do we know it's a journal article? Because sometimes in journal articles you will find it says peer reviewed, right? Otherwise, how do you find out if something is a journal article? Is that, it will be part of a journal. So what are these journals? You have this thing called, Journal of Marketing, Journal of Research, Journal of this, Journal of that. So this is the Global Journal of Commerce and Management Perspective, right? It is published by this institute, right? So that means they assessed and reviewed this article, and they thought that they added it into their journal, right? So this is the issue number, this is the publication date, this is the volume, volume 2 of the journal and the pages, right? And this is the title of the article. These are the people who wrote the article. This guy is from this place, this guy is from this place, this guy is from this place, right? So whenever you are reading something, try and see if these elements are there. Is it part of a journal? If it's not part of a journal, then that means it's not a journal article. That means it's an article, but it's not exactly published, right? So find out who the publisher is. Find out, something like this will always give you an indication of, whether it's part of a journal. What is the publication date, and of course the writers and a little bit about them, right? So then if you see a journal article, right? So there's like, there are various formats, but normally in the format, you will find a little abstract talking about Herzberg's two-factor theory work for today's environment, right? And then in the introduction, like now you can see when you're going through this, the authors have read what has been written on motivation by previous authors, right? They have written everything that they have read about previous authors, right? Then they have written about the two-factor theory, what previous authors have written, their own reading, their own literature review, their own findings. And then criticism on the extrinsic factors towards job satisfaction. Okay, This is what the theory, all of that, all of that, all of that, all of that. It goes like that. And then now here, there is no active research that they have done. Here, what they have done is they have actually reviewed all the literature there is on this. So based on this, this is what they are proposing. And then the conclusion and all the reference. Right. So this is one type of a journal article. Another journal article, I mean, I'll show you later. It'll have, okay, they read all this, they did their literature review, and this is what they found. This is their research. What did they found from their respondents? And then the findings and the conclusion. So always when you're reading, guys, when you're searching for stuff, try and actually see whether it is actually a journal article, right? And also remember, so academic sources have to be authoritative. I mean, people with expertise, people who have done research have to be the ones who wrote it. They have to be peer reviewed. That means, it has to be part of a journal. It has to be published, reviewed by a panel of academics. It has to be objective. That means basically, when you read a journal article, you will find they show all sides of the story. If it's Herzberg's thing, they will show, okay, this is what motivation is, this is what this person said, that person said, the other person said, this is about the model or the theory, the good side of it, the bad side of it, the arguments against it, the arguments for it. So they will look at any topic in a very fair way without taking a side. But if you normally read a magazine article, most of the time the author is on, I mean, very rarely the author say, this is this, but this is that, this is that. So they don't have a holistic view of things. It's mostly one-sided. But always in an academic article, it will always be very holistic. And of course, academic articles are not written to be published in, on the papers or the magazines. It is written for academics. So you will probably find these, yes, you can find it on Google Scholar, or you will find it mostly in libraries or databases online, right? So there are so many types of academic sources, right? So I was talking about journal articles, but you will always have, published reports and books. Of course, not any book, peer-reviewed books. So anyway, whatever it is, right, you will have to first try and see whether this source that you found, whether this information that you found is scholarly or academic or not, right? So step one, so you have your source. Let's say you found an article. Did you find this article in a library database? Yes? No? No? Okay, then if you didn't find it in a library database, did you find it in Google Scholar? No? Then probably it's not a scholarly article. Okay, you found it in a library. Is the journal peer reviewed? See criteria on the other. So basically, that criteria that I was showing, the title, the publisher, the volume, all of this. So, okay, if everything is there, it's most likely scholarly. If it's not there, it's not scholarly. Step two, the authors. Are the authors' credentials provided? Do you know who these people are? No. Then probably it's not scholarly. Yes. Are the authors affiliated with a university or research institute? Like now the one that I showed you, they were in a university. So if it's yes, no. Then finally, the content. Does the article attempt to persuade or bias the reader? No. Yes. If it's yes, of course, you must try and read a little bit more to see whether it's, very subjective or whether it's actually objectively written. If it's not biased, does the article have work cited or in the bibliography, like the references? Yes. Is the article longer than 10 pages? Normally a journal article won't be 1 or 2 pages, right? But of course, that is not such a big viable criteria for you to assess. But you should have, like, when you look at something, you should be able to say, okay, this doesn't actually look scholarly, so I'm not going to waste my time, right? So finding the right source is very important, guys. Yes, sometimes you might not be able to go through all these steps, but just having them in the back of your head will help you to ascertain when you're reading something, okay, this is something academic, this is something that I can use in my assignment or in my reading, right? So where can you find these academic sources? So if you know where to look, everywhere. So you can find it in the university library, You can find it in academic journals like Journal of Commerce and Management and all of that. You can find it in databases online, from Emerald to all of that. And also you can find it on Google if you know how to search, right? So Google Scholar, you will find a lot of academic articles. So you should know you should know how to dig deep and go beyond the normal Google and try and source these things, right? Just kidding. Basically, it is there for you to find online if you know how to find it. So that's about how you find what to write. Sorry, how you find what to read. Once you have read these things, right? Let's say you want to use them in your work. You want to use them as part of your assignment, right? Then you have to know like how to properly refer, because you can't just copy paste something because then you obviously MSc you will get caught to plagiarism. But even if you don't get caught to plagiarism, referencing is an essential part of academic writing. Why? Because I was telling you, like when you're writing academically, you should look at the whole picture. You can't just look at one definition and be okay with it. Just say, okay, I'm doing this research, but before I do this research, I should know what other people have said about this topic, right? So referencing is the process of acknowledging your sources. Just show these are the things that I read. So the more sources you have in your document, the more credible and viable your document is, right? If you write an entire one-page essay with just one source, it really doesn't show a lot of it doesn't show that you were being holistic. It shows that you are being biased to that one source, right? So the more sources you have shows that you have gone through so much and that your work there is actually a very objective kind of viewpoint. So sources include anything that you take information from, right? You can take information from books to magazines to websites to even TV shows, right? By referencing your sources, you're demonstrating to your tutors or the reader how much you have researched. And how much you have researched means it actually kind of reinforces your own argument as well. So using a wide range of sources is an excellent practice and not a sign of weakness. So it doesn't mean that you just copied other people's work. It means that you did a lot of research, right? And also what you like from a university perspective, from a MSc perspective, you have to give your sources so that if we want to kind of see what you read, we should be able to go and find that source. Failure to reference correctly, very important, or not to reference at all, will end up with you being called out for plagiarism, right? So referencing is good because it helps to show evidence of your research, and also for you guys, it kind of helps you to keep track of everything that you have read and also to show how much you have researched. So I'm going to take you through this. There's a handout on the Moodle that I have put. I'm not going to take you through the entire thing, but just to show you, of course, I want you to read it on your own when time permits. But just to show you what I mean, right? Make sure you read this handout on your own. If you are too lazy to read it, you can of course listen to it. There's a video tutorial as well. But I just want to highlight some of the main things that I want you to give extra attention to when you read, right? So basically, guys, this is what referencing looks like, right? Don't worry about the technicalities. So you have to, like, when you cite your referencing, when you cite the sources, there's so much of information that you have to give to the reader to show this is where you got your information from, right? Now, referencing we do in two ways. And for an assignment or for any writing exercise, any academic writing, you have to do referencing in two types. One is you cite in the report itself. We call this in-text citation. That means when you're writing your essay, you have to refer. So this is an example of in-text citation, right? Benefits of adopting e-business processes within healthcare supply chains have extensively been discussed by this person, this person, this person. So here and there and then and there, you write where you rated it from. Fisher, an author called Fisher, this is the in-text citation, argues that functional products are the staples that satisfy the consumer's basic needs, blah, blah, blah. So this is one type of referencing that you have to do in the report, in the essay, in the presentation, in the assignment. Then for everything that you put an in-text citation, you have to also give a lengthy, comprehensive list of references, right? So let's say here you're talking about where you read Fisher's thing from. This is the longer, fuller reference of Fisher. So if you can see the difference here, here we just give the year and the page number because we have done some direct referencing. I'll tell you that later. Here you've given the author's name, the year that the article has been written, the name of the article, where did you read this article from, the volume, and the pages, right? So always remember that means for every reference you use, you will mention it twice in your assignment, right? So read these things, right? These are all the things that I want you to read. And also guys, see when it comes to citing references, so it's very important to not make it so monotonous, right? I mean, sometimes when you read something, you'll be like, for everything, this one says, this one says, this one says. So that's like, the same format again and again. So there are different ways of citing, like different ways of taking somebody's idea and putting it into your work, right? Sometimes you integrate it into the sentence itself, right? Like this. Burns suggested, Burns is the author, he's the year of the reference, the document. Burns suggested that the majority of hospitals seem to have outdated information systems. That is, the name of the author is also part of your writing. Sometimes you don't put the author's name into what you're writing. You write the idea of that author, and you write his name at the end of that sentence or that paragraph. RFID technology has been used in a range of applications such as access, blah, 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 blah. So this is all said by this person. Put it at the end of the sentence. And of course, the third one is you write it in direct quotes. But of course, I don't like this direct quote a lot. So if you are using it, why you should use direct quotes is if the words of the author are so awesome that it has to, you think that that's the best way to put it and there's no other way to put it, then it's okay, you can use it as a direct quote. Like when it's like critical. Otherwise, don't. Always try and use these two methods when you are citing other people's work. If you really want to use a direct quote, just make sure that you don't have more than 10% of your answer in direct quotes, right? So, then there are two ways to do direct quotes. One is like you give like, let's say 2 or 3 lines from that quotation. Otherwise, you try and minimize the direct quote to one sentence. Sometimes you don't have to use that person's entire sentence. Something like this. Wait, let me show you. Yeah. Now here, this one, these are direct quotes, but that doesn't mean you have copied copied everything that the author says. Like here and there, you have used, and then basically it's not the entire sentence, like part of the sentence. Because remember, direct quotes are not that welcome in the academic world. You can use it, of course, but very sparingly. right? So if you are using a direct quote, you have to have the author's surname, date, and the page number. Now see, here, right, here we don't have any direct quotes. That's why we have just put the author's name and the surname. Author's names and the surname, names and the surname. But here, since we have direct quotes, even these words, within inverted commas, then we have the author's surname, the author, the year that it was written, and the page number also. So very important to remember that when you're using direct quotes, right? So remember, again, I know students like to use direct quotes, so might as well do it correctly. So if you are using like a few phrases, few words for the direct quote, you can write it, just how you're writing it, right? Just make sure you have the page number. See, but if you are giving if you are directly quoting like 2 or 3 sentences, right? Then you have to indent it. Indent means if this is how you wrote the rest of the essay, that direct quote you have to keep a tag and put it. See, it has to be indented. Okay. Yes, you have the author's name. A project includes a certain degree of uniqueness and dissimilarity as Sismill, the author. This is the year, this is the page number, notes, and you nicely indent it and give the direct quote. So remember these little things, because although they are little things, they are very important things when it comes to academic writing, right? Now, one of the biggest things that we face is that, okay, let's say you're writing about, something, let's say the repercussions of Corona, or, no journal articles have been written yet, I think. So you'll have to, cite a web page. Let's say from Forbes to CNN to Economist, let's say you're referencing something that you read online, right? Now, when you are citing something from a web page, right, the author, just like for a normal citation, you have to have the author's surname and the year that it was published, right? Sometimes, but when you read something, you will not find a name of an author. If it's there, it's amazing. If it's not there, even the company that is publishing it. Let's say you're reading something from Forbes and it's written by Forbes. They haven't given an author's name. Then just put the name of the company, right? The name of the person who owns the website. Like this, you read something from NASA, you don't know who said it from NASA, but you know that website is run by NASA, so that means they become the author of the website, right? If there is no title to the page, let's say you're just reading something, no author, no, you can't find out who owns the website, then you can use the URL. However, don't go there, right? Always try to find things where there is an author, or at least where you know that it's like a company, or the owners of the website, right? Now, that's about referencing, right? So referencing, just to recap, 2 ways of referencing. You have to have both ways in any document. You have the in-text citation, that is, as in when you're writing the name of the author and the surname of the author and the year of publication. And then you have the reference lists, right? Now, some people use these words, list of references and bibliography, interchangeably. But there is a difference, right? You would have seen these words. You would have seen in some books and some articles, you will find list of references or references. And in others, you will find bibliography. But what's the difference? List of references mean it is the references that you have used to write in the report. Bibliography is, let's say you are writing an essay and you're reading something, you're reading a book, but you're not using that book, you're not using anything from the book in your essay. That means that is part of your bibliography. right? So that is just things that you read to like kind of prepare yourself to write it, right? So that's the difference between list of references and bibliography. I would love to see our students give us a bibliography, because most of the time you read only what you have to read. But in case you know read something that helps you to write something, but you don't necessarily use it, you can put it up as a list of, I mean, your bibliography list. Right. So when you are writing your references, guys, we don't number them. We don't put any bullets, no headings, no subheadings, nothing. The order is the alphabetical order, right? That's it. And so you don't, I have seen like, you know, in different places, they have said, okay, list of references, books, tuck, 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 journal articles, tuck, tuck, tuck. No, it's nothing like that. Even if it's a book or a journal article or a tweet or a YouTube video, you put it all together. The only order is alphabetical order, right? This is how it will look like. Alphabetical order. C, F, K, N, right? No bullets or numbering. And there's a space between two references. That's how you know, that's how you separate. No 1, 2, 3, 4 or ABCD or nothing like that, right? So keep this in your head. Okay, so I won't take you through this part because I'll take you through another part later, right? 1 second. Let me go back to my slide. So make sure you read that document, you know, from beginning to end. Like I always tell you, I'm not gonna. If I think that you can read and understand, I will probably leave you to it without, you know, wasting time that we can be doing other things in the class. All right. So now we were talking about using references in our assignments or essays or whatever, right? So references are an essential part of academic writing. And why do we need references? When we want to show what we have read, right? So when you're using references, guys, there are various ways that you will use it for. One is you will use it to define a topic, to define a variable. As you're writing an article about group learning, assignment, you're writing an essay about group learning, so you will have to say this is what group learning is. You're going to define it. So that you use references for that. Or you will use references to review an author's work. Okay, this is what group learning is. This is what author A said, but this is what author B said, and it kind of contradicts with what author A said, right? You compare and contrast author's work. Again, you need references. And of course, when you're writing like any kind of assignment, sometimes not theory, you will have to incorporate information like, okay, how many people you know, work from home in Sri Lanka, or what is the percentage of you know, satisfaction in your company. So when you're using information like that also, you will have to refer. Now let me take you through another area in the Moodle, which I want you to again properly see, where I have given some examples of how this is done, right? So these are all things that you should, like, you know, I will just take you through them, but make sure you go through them at home, right? So now I have given some samples of how you can use references. So when you're writing academic writing, like any kind of academic writing, right? So sample A is when you're going to describe a variable, right? Now, 1 second. Let me share my screen. Okay. Now, this is, let's say, sorry. Okay. This is where I have shown how you can use references to describe a variable. What is a variable I'm describing? Teamwork, right? So I'm writing an essay about teamwork and I have to define teamwork. Now, normally what people do is they define teamwork according to one author. But like I have told you, you have to use multiple authors because you need a holistic thinking, holistic approach to defining it. So teamwork is described as the harmonious amalgamation of members to achieve a company's goals. This was taken by this. where members carry out individual tasks in tandem with others, taken by this author as well as this author, towards overall organization success. This author, right? So this is actually one line, right? If you take the authors out, it's actually a short line. The author's names make it long. So the line is teamwork is described as the harmonious amalgamation of members to achieve a company's goals, where members carry out individual tasks in tandem with others towards overall organization success. This attitude towards teamwork is seen at Google. So I had wanted to show, okay, this is what theoretically it means, and it is like a practical application. This attitude towards teamwork is seen at Google, where high-performing teams are found to be made up of individuals who understand the impact of their work on organization success. It's done by this author. Okay, now before I talk about why everything is colored differently, right, you will find that I have done something like this. Fajana, 2002, cited in Fapahunda, 2013. That means I was reading this author's work, and this author has referred to this author's work, right? So I referred to the original one, but I didn't read the original work. I read it from this one. That's why I have written it as this author's work. Same rules apply, right? In-text citation is author's surname and year of publication. Cited in what I read, author's surname, year of publication. That's why you find a lot of those things, right? Okay. So why have I colored it like a rainbow? Is I wanted to show you where exactly I got these points from, right? So this yellow color thing is I got it from this. This is the direct quote. This is what I directly read, right? Assess a teamwork is an integration of resources and inputs working harmony to achieve goals. Goals are prescribed for every organization member, right? Then this pink one, right, I got from this Diana, the author called Diana. Then this little green word, in tandem with others, that idea I got from this Papahundu. Then this ash one I got from this. This is the entire thing that I read, but from that I got this. So what I'm trying to show you guys is I had to read all of this, right, to write this paragraph, actually 2 lines, right? So when you are at an MSc level, this is the kind of citations that we would expect from you, right? So for this paragraph that is made up of only 2 sentences, these are the in-text citations, and I have also done the list of references. Yeah, so it's very ironic that the list of references are longer than the paragraph, right? But I just wanted to show this to you guys. So this is the amount of work that you need to put in when you are at this level. So to write 1 sentence, you will have to read 3 people's work. Yeah, it doesn't get as bad as that, but that is what you should aspire to do, right? Don't worry about these things. I will show you like the technical part of writing this, right? But I just want to show you how you can, improve yourselves. Okay. Now that is about defining a variable, right? Then I've given you another. Okay, let's see. I've given you another sample on the Moodle on how you can review an author's work. Right? Let me once again, let me share my screen. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Right. Okay. Reviewing an author's work is basically you try and show, okay, this is what this person has said, but this is what other people have said about this person. Or this work, right? So I have reviewed Hofstede's cultural dimensions, or try to review, right? While there are several theories, concepts, and studies on cultural studies, Hofstede's work, right? Hofstede did so much of research, right? So this is one of the things that I read, is perhaps the most dominant and has evolved from being a 4-dimensional framework to having 6 dimensions with the additions of long-term orientation and indulgent dimensions later on. So guys, if you don't know Hofstede's cultural dimensions, don't worry about it. It's this very famous cultural model that we use to understand national culture. So it's very, I love Hofstede because that's a very, it's a classic example of how theory keeps improving. Now, when Hofstede first started this, he was working at IBM, right? And he did the research among IBM employees. And then what happened was other people also joined him. So it started with only 4 concepts. Then it became 5 concepts. Now it has become 6 concepts. So the research is very ongoing. So that's why I use that, because it's a perfect example to show you also how literature keeps getting better and better and better with more and more research, right? All right. So, okay. So I gave an introduction, how it has evolved. Nevertheless, there have been many criticisms of various aspects of the framework, such as Hofstede's questionable standing that a national culture is one which is very stable. This is said by these 2 guys. Given that there can be many grounds on which members of a population of a nation is different to one another. This guy has said that. Hofstede's data collection method has also been questioned with regards to its representativeness. These guys have questioned that. Given that Hofstede based the entire study on IBM employees across 40 countries, and validities in some countries have less than 100 employees. So these are all the authors who have kind of like questioned and criticized Hofstede's work, saying that, hello, it's questionable. Interestingly, right, Hofstede has counter-argued some of the criticisms. So these are the good parts of it. Okay, these are the criticisms and then counter-argued, like the impact of new technology on a country's culture, mentioning that although they affect countries, new technologies do not necessarily change a country's cultural position. With regards to scholarly argument on how cultural change, so this is what Hofstede has said. He has said, okay, yeah, you're right, technology is changing everything, but technology doesn't change culture. That's what he has found. With regards to the scholarly argument on how cultural change over time hinders the possibility to make absolute comparison between companies' cultures, Hofstede has mentioned that substantial cultural change is needed to invalidate a country's. So basically, this guy kind of defending his research, right? Okay, so that's not the point here. So I want to show you, to do this, this is how I got the information from. So like earlier, the different colors. So these are all the things that I read, guys. Right? All the things that I read, to write that little bit of review, right? So, and then I've given the list of the references as well. Okay. So I want you to, properly go through it at home to find out basically how you can do it. Last example I'm going to show you. Okay, 1 second. Sorry, I want to read the chat. Okay, so one last example is, okay, now forget theory, will you? When it comes to using information in your assignments, right? Let's say you're writing an information about, your company, or something where you are giving some practical information. Right? Okay, this is a very hypothetical example. Okay, nothing in this example is true. I have made everything, right? But I just want to show you how you can put those into the report, right? Adding to its list of HR related awards and recognitions, White Cloud Sri Lanka was recognized as the best workplace for women by Great Place to Work last year, right? So this is we're writing about a company, right? White Cloud, Boru company, yeah? White Cloud Sri Lanka was recognized as best place of women by Great Place to Work last year. The company prides itself on being an equal opportunity provider and has also been recognized for this particular operating philosophy by LMD's most respected editor in Sri Lanka 2019. Okay, in which White Cloud was listed number 41. Internal initiatives such as the company's 100 working days motherhood benefits. This is that I took from the company's website by the HR department has been highly lauded as a pioneering venture in the insurance industry 100 times 2019. Right? Now, all of this entire paragraph, I'm writing about this fictional White Cloud Sri Lanka company. It talks about the company's achievements, awards, like great place to work, good place for women, yada, yada, yada. Now, see the sources that I have found. GPTW, great place to work, one of the best researchers that happens in an HR sense in Sri Lanka. LMD, they're recognized as a business magazine in Sri Lanka. This I had to take from the company's website because it talks about their motherhood benefits program. And of course, Sunday Times, credible sources, hopefully credible sources. But this is what we get in Sri Lanka, right? Okay, anyway. However, when considering the team at White Cloud Sri Lanka, the company has a workforce of over 750 permanent employees. So where did I get this information from? From the company's website. And its female staff population is at 37%. This I got from one of the company's internal reports. Although the percentage is slightly improved from 35% in 2019, this number does not seem to reflect gender equality in a quantitative basis. Even when considering top tiers of the company, there are no females in the 6-board board of directors, and there are only 2 females in the 9-member senior level. So I want to show this to you because now see the colors. The yellow colors are the external news sources. This is the company's annual report. This is the company's newsletter, right? They send every month to the employees. And this is taken, from the company's HRIS, like the numbers of the employees and all. So when you are writing about a company, guys, right, you will have to look at all these things. So this is not theory, this is practical stuff. You have to look at all these things when you're writing about a company. So basically what I'm trying to show you is that for academic writing, there's a lot of reading involved. And everything that you read, or the things that at least you want to include, you have to include using proper referencing, right? So yes. Okay, guys, I know there's a lot of talking from my end. It's not the most interesting topic to be talking about on a Sunday afternoon. So please stop me and ask me any questions if you are confused, right? I am assuming that since everyone is silent, that everyone is getting it. Okay. So like we were saying, 2 types of referencing. Now, for you guys, okay, there's a lot of referencing styles out there, right? The 2 main styles are Harvard referencing and APA, that is American Psychological Association referencing. So we at LMU and at Next, we use Harvard referencing. So stick to it, right? Because I know there are like so many softwares, even in Word document, even in Word, you can like automatically do your referencing. So always, if you are using something like that, that's okay, as long as it's good and like a paid for software where it's proper. You have to use the Harvard referencing style, right? So let me take you. So in the Moodle, one second. In the Moodle, we have given you the Harvard referencing guideline, as per LMU. Because Harvard referencing also, guys, like, different universities have Harvard referencing as per the university. So since you are, at LMU, you are expected to basically use that. So use the one in the Moodle. Let me show that to you. One second. Okay, so this is what's in your Moodle, right? It has everything that you will ever need. I am not going to take you through the whole thing because it would be like taking you through a dictionary, but I'll just show you like the key stuff, right? But seriously, guys, it's how many pages is this? Wow, it's a lot of pages, 36 pages or more. But I really think, at least if you can skim through in your own time, it will really make it worth it, because once you start your MSc, guys, you won't have time to do stuff like this, right? So you don't have to cut apart and find how to reference. Don't do that. It's stupid, it's silly, it's unnecessary. But if you know where to find what, how to reference what, then you're good, right? So let me just take you through the methods, right? So here also they've talked about how you can do in-text citations and all of that, right? Okay. Now, guys, sorry. Now, the basics of Harvard referencing is sometimes these journal articles will have only one author. One guy will write it. Sometimes these journal articles will have 2 authors, 3 authors, more than 3 authors, all of that. You have to know how to do this, right? Now, if you are using one author, now here, from a survey of 24 American museums, Chabra, 2009, 315. Now, the moment you see this, you have to know, okay, that means there is a direct quote in here. Observes that almost all marketing plans fail to emphasize the need to be. So this entire thing is a direct quote, and you have it's less than one sentence. So that's why we have not intended it, right? Okay. So how you put that in the reference list is like this. If you have 2 or 3 authors, right? Then you put it like this. Author 1, 2, and 3, right? And in the list of references also, that journal article will have 3 authors, right? And then if you have more than like 4 or more, like more than 3 authors, then we put the first author's name that is in the journal article, and then we put et al and a dot, right? So you don't have inside the text, you don't have everything. Just put et al, and then you put the year, right? It's very important to know that. But in the referencing list, you put all the names, right? Then, if you are like referencing something that is written by a company, like an annual report or a company report, then you write the company's name, right? In the referencing list also, you write the company's name. If there is no author, right? Let's say you're reading Forbes, no author, then you write Forbes here. If you are reading something from the Sunday Times and there's no author there, sometimes you have authors, some articles you don't have authors, then you just write the name of the newspaper, right? If there is nothing at all, no author or title, then you can put the URL that you copy and paste from the bar and then the year, right? So likewise, guys, now there's so many referencing here, multiple sources. This is how you refer, so basically don't cut apart and find this, but know what are the things that you have here so that you know how to refer things, right? So for example, if you are referring an ebook, right, a book that you read online, you put the author most like you put the author's surname, comma, and the initials spaced out by dots, author, the year of the publication, the title of the book comes in italics, the edition of the book, that is first edition, the second edition, third edition, the place of publication, semicolon, the publisher, and a dot, right? Now remember, guys, in referencing, every single dot, every single comma, everything matters, right? So let's say you wrote a book, you read a book by this Maccabee, all right? So in text, you put it like this at the end of the sentence, okay? In the list, author's surname, right, comma, the initials, and the year is in brackets. The name of the book is in italics, right? This is the entire name of the book. edition එකක් නැහැ. So no edition, don't worry. If there's no edition, you do not have to worry. Place of publication is London, ... and the publisher is Wallflower. Right. Now, if there is an edition, this is how you put the edition. Okay. Then, okay. Blah, 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 blah. You can read this on your own. And journal articles, very interesting because this is what you should be doing. 80%, you should be referring journal articles in your work, right? Author, year, the title of the article comes in between single quotes, comma. The title of the journal comes in italics, comma. The volume, remember in the journal article you saw the volume, the issue, the page numbers, and the date of publication, right? But most of the time you don't find the date of publication, so it's okay. Right. Let me give a better example. No, it's okay. Let's discuss this. So this is what it looks like. Remember the single quotes. Remember the italics, right? The page numbers, all of that. Let me show you in a web thing, right? When you read a journal article online, obviously you guys are going to read a journal article online. You should put all of these things that we just talked about, and then you should also put available at ... You copy and paste the URL, and then you write this. When did you read it? Why do we put this, guys? Because when it's online, it can like easily get like, you might read it on like last week Monday, but by next week Tuesday it would have been different. But you are referring to something there, so you have to write this access date also. Okay? Very important. Access ... with a full stop. Remember, these full stops and these formats are extremely important. So we have given like how you can refer a newspaper, how you can refer, see, you can even refer like, you know, theater productions, what Shakespeare said, please don't. I can't say please don't. Maybe, you know, I don't know. At your discretion. Translated books, theses, blah, 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 blah. If I'm not mistaken, I think we've also given, you know, things like, yeah, websites, how you refer web pages, right? How you refer blogs. I don't recommend blogs for any academic writing exercise. How you refer a forum. Let's say you were listening to an HR forum or an innovation forum, and you just listen to something and it made sense. How can you refer that? It's all here. Emails. You never know when you're writing about a company. You can refer an email. You can refer something you read on Facebook, Twitter, podcasts, anything and everything can be and has to be referred, right? That is the bottom line here. Okay, so let me stop this down here. So guys, everything is available to you on the Moodle. It's just a matter of you knowing where to find what, right? So now that you have seen this and you've heard me talk for like an hour, I know it's not the most interesting thing, but it's of course necessary. I want you to try this out, right? I want you to try this out. Now I'm going to put you into groups and I'm going to get you to read a little bit about, remember I showed you where I have criticized Hofstede? Yeah. So I want you to do something like that for me. So basically, I want you to critically review literature on any of the below concepts using multiple authors' work. When I say multiple authors' work, I need at least 5 to 6 or more, right? Not less than 5. And provide references in text and as a list. So basically, what I want you to do is something like this. One second. What I want you to do is something like this. Reviewing an author's work, right? And I want you to, I don't want you to do these things. This is just for you to know like where I got this information from. But I want you to, of course, give the list of references. right? Now, guys, it's very important that, one second, it's very important that you read proper stuff when you are writing this. Sorry. 1 second, I'm sharing the wrong screen. So it's very important that you read proper stuff when you're writing this. Remember, I want you to read journal articles or at least the published report and nothing on a website or anything, right? Because you are reviewing literature of an author. So I have given 3 options for you. You can review literature on Porter's 5 force analysis. Some of you must be knowing this as a marketing thing. Now don't think that you have to know about the model. If you know, it's fine. Otherwise, don't worry about it. Or you can review 4 P's of marketing. Or you can review Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Right? So what you can do is, as a group, I want one of you, or anyone in the group, to have your own Google document. Open up a Google document so that you can share it with your group members, so that you guys can try and work on it together. Or even if you use a normal document, it's okay. Google document makes life easy for you guys, and you have to share the screen after you finish it. So right now we don't have any databases or libraries for you to pick from. So Googling is your way to go here. So what I want you to do is, you have about 40, I have given 45 minutes, but that's with the discussion. So you have about 30 minutes. So what you can do is first quickly pick one of these things to review, and then quickly search for, authors who have criticized it. So when you're searching on Google, when you search for the journal article, you can say, let's say you're searching for 4 P's of marketing 4 P's criticism, journal article, or marketing 4 P's criticism, PDF, because most journal articles are in PDF form. That's a little simple rule of thumb, right? So do some good searches online, guys. Find journal articles. If you have to download it, download it. Otherwise, just keep in the tabs open so that you can, show me what you found. And then after you have about 5 or 6 or 7 authors, try and put it down like the example that I showed you. And of course, that is only half of the task. The other half is, you have to work on your reference list also. So let's do a little divide and conquer scene, where part of the group can do the writing part and the other part can do the reference list, right? Is that clear? Is the task clear to you guys? Do you have any questions with the task? We have 18 members, so I can make you into groups of 5. I think 18 is with me and Jeremy, so maybe groups of 5.
Okay, Ruandi, Zahara won't be able to, she's online, but she won't be able to join the groups, it seems.
Sure.
She's at work. But that's okay,
Oh,
no?
That's fine.
So how many groups? 3 groups of 5?
Yeah, 3 groups of 5, Jeremy. That'll be great. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Any questions though before we do this about the task, guys? So I suggest that you first go to the Moodle and check out that document, reviewing multiple authors, so that you guys can have like a format, reviewing multiple authors. That's the second attachment in that folder, if I'm not mistaken. So that's the first thing you should do. And Jeremy, they'll be able to see this, right? Like if you do that annotate thing. So
Sorry? They will be able to see this recording, is it?
No, this slide. If like that day we did that annotate thing where they can save the slide, the screen.
Yeah, in the groups, no, we'll have to. There will need to be someone who shares the slide.
Right. Okay.
So if you could send it on the chat, just the slide to everyone now.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Let me do that. One second. Is anybody on the Moodle as well?
Okay.
Is anybody on the Moodle as well? Wait. Let me quickly do that. Jeremy, you can put them into groups until then, but don't open the groups until I.
Okay.
More or less, how many words?
Oh, good. So how many words? I'm thinking less than 100 actually. You should be able to put everything together, right?
Okay, thanks.
No problem. But I'm not too strict on that since it's your first time doing something like this. I'm not too strict on that. But yeah, that will be good.
Kolla.
Quickly put the result. Oh,
Sorry,
we
Ronnie.
have an
Dogs.
entry. That's
I
okay.
didn't
They're
notice that I was on.
always welcome. So I'm just going to put the slide. I'll put it on the chat now, no? Yes. 1 second. Yeah, there we go. Guys, can you wait? It's not loading. Okay. I sent it on the chat, guys, the task. And so number one, go to the Moodle and check out my sample, right? This is how it looks like. You must check this out. Sample academic writing. Under sample academic writing, you have to pick this one, B. Sample academic writing, part B, right? So it has to be something like that. And then get to work. You have 30 minutes. So that's very short time. So start working very fast. Jeremy, don't assign me to a group. I'll stay in the main room and I'll visit them separately.
Okay. You just need to not accept menu.
All right, I'll say later. Hashan will have about 3 people with him, no?
Yeah. That if. So let's see.
Okay. Come on, eh? So that's 7 people in the group. That's okay. So Jeremy, we'll give them about 10 minutes on their own and we'll try walking around at 1:50.
Okay.
Okay. Jeremy, when we break them into groups, it doesn't come to the recording, right?
Research test reported the distinction between the deficiencies and growth needs, but showed that not all people are able to satisfy their higher order needs on the job. So even if you go on the ladder, on the hierarchy, there are instances that you will actually get stagnated in some level based on your external environments. All not everybody will reach the top level.
That's
Yeah.
true, that's true. No, good stuff, guys. Good stuff. I like the way that you guys have gone through index citation spot on. Kaur Kama 2013. Oh, look, this looks good. Nice. Okay. I know this is still a work in progress, so I know you haven't done any editing or font stuff, but good stuff. Very good start. Thank you, Shamit.
Yeah. Okay.
Can we have Yanushka's group?
Yeah, so it's not that complete.
That's okay.
But yeah, we focused on the definition of it and then just about contradicting the theory, basically.
Okay. Wait 1 second. Okay, nice. I like the second paragraph more than the first. Very nicely linking the authors there. Nice. Can I see your references?
Yes.
Looking good, guys. Looking good. Good stuff. So see, you read 5 and you wrote like just that. That's exactly what I want.
Yeah.
No. That's the whole point of the whole exercise also, You will write very little, but you will read a lot. Thank you, Yanushka.
Okay, thank you.
Can I have Dakshi's group? Dakshi? Anyone from Dakshi's group? You can share your screen and show us.
Ruandi.
Hi,
Yeah,
yes,
it's Sudesh. Yeah, actually, what we were doing was individually we did our research, and finally we thought of sending to one person and just make in one document. So the last bit of we did it in the last bit, so we did not have much time. So I have like a sketch of work which I did. If
Yep,
I can, yeah, how to share this? Share
Yeah.
screen. Okay. Okay, and regarding this, we did regarding Porter's 5 forces criticism, and since that we are doing criticism, I did not go. We did not go deep into explaining what is 5 forces and all.
Yeah.
So we went through a slight introduction. It's Porter's 5 forces is a model that identifies and analyzes 5 competitive forces that shape every industry and helps determining industry weaknesses and strengths. So in this document, I have only 3 references, which was taken from Investopedia and 2 other journals and 1 internet document. And after a little brief on the second line, I have gone into the criticizing part. It says the model is best applicable for the analysis of simple market structures. A comprehensive description and analysis of all 5 forces gets very difficult in complex industries. So like it's basically it's not for it doesn't cater all industries equally. So that's one thing. So
Well,
others,
it's a good
yeah,
start. Don't use all caps, right? And try not to use Investopedia. I mean,
yeah.
don't use it. Okay, but the other 2 sources are good.
Yeah, thanks.
Perfect. No. I can understand. You guys did a divide and conquer scene and then didn't have time to merge it together. No problem. Thanks. Thank you, Sudesh. So guys, so see, this is like a very small exercise. But if you like, either as a group or individually, if you want to continue this exercise and send it to me, like mail it to me or Jeremy, and I can give you feedback on this, right? It's not a must, but if any one of you now you know what to do and you have my sample in the Moodle, if you want to continue the exercise and send it to me, you are very welcome, and I will give you like a I will give you some critique and some feedback. So if you like, you are most welcome to do that. So guys, see, referencing, it's not like rocket science. The referencing part actually is easy, right? Because you just like look at the guide and you do it. The difficult part is actually incorporating the references into your work. But don't worry, with time you kind of like get into it. The main thing, like the main thing that I saw across is that don't think that you have to write everything that author has written. No, it's okay. Even if you like take 3 words from that author, it's fine. Why? Because see, the whole point of you providing the reference is that you are giving me the chance to go and check it out for myself. So that's my job, right? So, but you don't have to like say, oh my God, I have to like do good by this author and I've got to put all the things that he said. Otherwise, we are like losing that best point. Get that out of don't get into that mindset. Because if you're putting the reference, that means, you see, sometimes we put references without even mentioning a single word from that author. Like the idea is the reference, right? So don't worry too much about that. And again, don't worry about it because it's like an ongoing recurring thing that you're going to do. So please keep doing it, because the more you do referencing and in-text citations, the better you get at it, right? So again, whatever you write, let me see that so that I can give you some feedback. So guys, this is the end of your academic writing sessions, at least formally. Of course, you'll be meeting me again, and I'll probably be touching base on several stuff. So what I can tell you is, have fun with the assignment. If you haven't checked out the video for the guidelines, check it out. Anything is confusing you, please send me a message on the discussion group. I will reply. If I think that it's a question that needs much more than a reply, I will try and set something up so that I can like explain it to you. But have fun with the assignment. And also I'll be putting another video this week about how you guys will be exposed to what we call is the concept of flipped classrooms. Because see, also to MSc guys, right? I mean, when you're in a virtual environment, like I always say, most lecturers will not want to repeat something that you can easily read and understand in class, because in class we can use that time to like do activities with you and really apply the theories, right? So there's a way to do this so that it's not too tough on you guys and it's not too tough on the lecturers, and that the learning part is actually enhanced. So, but before we introduce you to flipped learning, it's very necessary that you understand what kind of concept of learning that is. So I'm going to put a video out this week, a very short one, just for you to know. I'm not saying all your lecturers are going to use flipped classrooms. You will of course have the traditional delivery model also here and there, but it'll be good for you guys to know what it means, so that you know what kind of commitment you need to do from your side. So watch out for that video. I think Jeremy will tell you on the WhatsApp group when I put that to the Moodle. And also guys, keep checking out the Moodle on academic writing. Like although the program, the 4 weeks are over, that doesn't mean I'll be stopping. I'll stop sharing things. So keep it going, keep the discussion board alive, because you will be doing practical academic writing throughout the MSc. So any questions you have, you can always ask me on that. And yeah, keep it alive, guys, because you can also share material with others, and it will be a good learning platform for everyone. So yeah, that's it about me, and that's it for academic writing skills also. Remember, read all the material on the Moodle, and good luck, and have fun with your MSc. Jeremy, when are they starting their official MSc classes?
On the 6th of September.
Perfect. So you guys have like a 2-week window to finish all the reading that you have on academic writing, and get ready for the real stuff.
Ruandi, I got a small question.
Yeah.
This is regarding my assignment. Actually, I didn't include any theoretical frameworks. But for example, when I was speaking about initial challenges, there were studies that supported my view. So I added them. I just I want to know. Yeah, I just want to know if should I include them in the introduction as well.
No need.
Okay,
Because the introduction, you have to say what is in that report. You don't have to do that. And if you don't want to use like Gibbs or Call, no problem at all.
Okay.
Because it's your.
Yeah, and I have another question. It's about when we use multiple sources, like we normally have to separate with semicolons, right? I am used to the automatic site, the referencing method, but how can I use it over there? I mean,
you will have to manually do that. Because see, according to the Harvard method, you will have to put that comma and all of that. Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That's it.
No problem, no problem. Have fun. All right, so guys, I hope you'll help out the people in the class who are not here, like, for the sessions. If they have any questions and all, make sure you guys have a lot of discussion in your WhatsApp group and all. And of course, don't hesitate to reach out at whatever time, right? So yeah, all the best to you guys, and I'll catch you when I do in your MSc.
Thanks, Ru.
Thanks, Randi.
Thank you,
a lot.
Thank you, Randi.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Jeremy.
everyone.
Thanks, man.
All right.